Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hey, hello. Today we're here with our pal from also Tony Robbins Summer Camp.
Surprise,
because
surprise.
always, a surprise. Every single guest we've had on so far has been from Tony Robbins Summer Camp. So, we can't break the streak now. Jacob, it's so good to see you. How are you doing? You're bald now. Look at you.
Yep. How are you guys doing? Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're good. It's been a long time. When was the last time that we saw each other?
Probably GYLS or oh no, I guess it would have been the youth coach year. One of the last. I actually went last year, but I think the one before that was like 10 years ago or something like that.
Wow.
And so it would have been,
Whoa.
I believe, either our youth leader year, but I think we all did at least most of us did a youth coach year immediately following, I believe. A lot of us did. I know a
Yeah,
lot of
I
us did. I don't know if all of us did, but
Yeah, 100%. Like a good amount of us definitely did a year, at least one. I think I did a handful,
did-
actually. I think I did two
I
or
did
three.
2, and then like a 10-year break, and then my mom obviously is still doing all that stuff, and Noah and I we all 3 went last year. It was a lot of fun.
Dang, that's crazy. Yeah, because I know our youth leader year was when I was 16 or 17, and then I continued on until I was 19.
Okay.
So it must have been 2 or 3 more years. Okay, so for context too, for the listeners, we're here with Jacob, who, if you listen to the Michelle episode, this is Michelle's son.
Yep.
For
Yep.
context, it's been a while. Wait, so how did you like it last
Oh, it
year?
was a lot of fun. It's very, very different, especially from a youth or from a coach perspective. They have overhauled it, and it is so much more to do, a lot more structured. I remember the coach year 10 years ago or whatever it was. I was, I guess, for lack of a better word, bored. There wasn't a lot of stuff for us to do. Like I remember just sitting there waiting for them to break out. You're like either in the room listening or you're a door guard and you're just sitting there on your phone waiting. So the last year, a lot more to do. So yeah, I had a lot of fun.
So in a good way.
Yes, yeah. A very good way. I had a great time.
That's awesome. It was a different campus too,
Yeah,
right?
so it's the other one you had this big long walk to the event center. I can't remember what it was called.
The Price
This
Center.
one's yeah. This one's all more centrally located, but way more of like a dorm style where everybody's on these big halls rather than like the buildings where you have the boy floor and girl floor and boy floor. It's like boy building, girl building, and you have a more traditional college dorm style living. But yeah, it's whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's
It's
who
Tony Robbins
cares?
Summer
Who
Camp.
cares sleeping? Like
Who cares?
you're not going to be in the room
Yeah.
long anyways, so it doesn't really matter.
Exactly. Yeah, I took a 5-year break before. I did one more. Did something similar where I went back for one more coach year, but I took a 5-year break, and I was like, dang, it's different, but it has not. I was not enticed to
Oh,
return
really?
after
Okay.
that.
My mom
Yeah.
and
I was going to say, I think that year it was the first year in person under the new management.
okay.
And so I think that everything was
After
new.
COVID.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that's-
And I think they were getting used to the new way of doing things.
Gotcha.
So I think there was some
Yes,
teething
exactly.
problems.
Mike and Tammy Tantilla have done a great job with the coach program. I'd call it a program now. There's stuff to do, things to learn, trainings. They're very thorough. I'd say it's worth going back, give it another shot. But it's also
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
also a week. It's a big commitment. So I totally get that as well.
I would love
Yeah,
to.
it's definitely big.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. There were some old people there. Mostly it was like I only knew like all the adults. There's a lot of like fire team people there. So I knew like most of the adults, and a lot of the kids were like, "Oh shit, you're old. Like you were here back 10 years ago. And there's not very many people who have been all four positions like us. So it was like cool to be one of the like legacy members or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, exactly. Like the OG, someone who actually grew up through the program was saying when I went back, there were only 6 of us who had actually gone through the program.
6.
And I was astonished. Like only a handful, which was so crazy. Jacob, where are you calling in from? You're living with your brother, right?
So I have a place here in Charleston, and Noah moved in a month or two ago. So just living here, hanging out, working, living same old stuff that everybody else is doing.
Yeah, for real, for real. Before we get into all the stuff that everyone's getting into, let's spin a wheel.
Oh yeah.
Fun and recreation. What's a fun skill you've learned or want to learn this year? What do you guys think?
One that I've learned this year.
One that you've learned or want to learn this year?
Recently I've always been a pretty big cook or fan of cooking. So recently I bought myself some like really nice knives. And what comes with that is a lot of care for the knives that I don't really know anything about. So I'm actually pretty excited to learn how to sharpen them. I bought like the whetstone, like I bought all this stuff. So I'm excited to learn. They come sharp, so I have to use them to get them to a point where they need to be sharpened. But I'm excited to learn about that. So I guess that would be a skill that I'm looking forward to getting better at this year.
Hell yeah. Knife sharpening.
Yeah.
I don't,
Niche.
I'm not,
very
I don't,
niche.
yeah. But also something so widely used too at the same time.
I think a lot of people don't even they don't even think about sharpening their knives, or they go get them done by somebody else. But why not learn to do it yourself?
Is there a particular technique or anything to it?
Yeah, so I bought a whetstone, which is like the hand like that. So you really from what I've read online, the biggest part of it is learning to get your like angles right, because you're working at really fine angles. So if you do it too wide, it doesn't slice as precisely as you. So like they're talking like 10 degree, 14 degree angles, like that specific. And so that's something that that's I guess the peculiarities of it.
Interesting.
I'm picturing the Gordon Ramsay like stick where you just do the thing really fast.
So I can teach you a little bit. That is a honing rod. It actually doesn't sharpen the knives. It helps keep the knife sharp. It helps remove material that just comes from using the knife, but doesn't actually sharpen the knife. So that's something they do every single time, and you can't use that on all types of knives. There's so many different types of metals and stuff like that. It's crazy. But essentially they do that every time they pull the knife out, just to clean the edge, and then they start. So it doesn't actually sharpen the knife.
That's crazy. I never would have known that actually.
Yep.
And I love that you're like definitely going down the rabbit hole of knife sharpening.
Hours on Reddit, like just reading what people are saying. Like it's yeah.
You really invested in these knives.
They're some nice. They can get upwards of hundreds of dollars. I splurged and bought nice ones, but probably ones nicer than I have business owning, just because I don't know what I'm doing with the sharpening aspect yet. But they're also really pretty and like nice looking and stuff like that. So you get sucked into it, or at least I have, because I like cooking. I like using them. Yeah, it's hard to. I'll just catch myself like just shopping for them and being like, I don't even need any more. I have plenty. I don't need any more, and I keep looking at them.
That's such a cool.
I love
That's such
that.
a cool skill to learn. Like it's, as you said, it's so niche.
Yeah.
I remember when I've never been into knives or really cooking particularly, but quite a few years ago now, we had Daisy and Lawson come to stay with us in London,
Yeah.
and they came over. They were quite young. Lawson must have been like 15 at the time. He was really young. This is going back a long time, and their mum sent over a set of knives with them. That was their gift to us for hosting them.
Oh, cool,
And it was like
cool.
this really like expensive, really nice cooking knives. But they took it in their hand luggage, so they got confiscated at security, so it never made it here.
Yeah.
But they were like serious knives. I remember seeing a photo of them, and they were They were like proper knives. But that's about all the experience I have with knives.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
funny
come on, guys.
on so many
Why would you
levels.
think that just carry
No.
that on? You know what I mean? Oh.
And then also, do you just leave the knives at the airport and just someone leaving like has a set of really nice knives now?
I don't know how it works, but I've got to imagine that TSA, like they confiscate them. They're not yours. You've lost them. They're not yours anymore. There's no way they've took them away.
Some TSA agent
That's what I'm
just got a
saying.
really nice
He's
set
got
of
this
knives.
unpackaged box of knives. I could toss this, or or sell them, or so that's
Yeah,
got to
it
happen
just-
with, they can't be the only people that have done that or brought something, a 12 pack of beer or just whatever it was, and like, oh, I'm gonna take this home.
For real. Once I saw people with a handle of either vodka or tequila or something in the line, but obviously
Yeah.
the TSA agent wouldn't let them take it. So they're just like taking shots and passing
I've
it to
seen that.
everyone in the
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
They're like, yeah. Does
I'm
anyone
not gonna
want a
throw it
shot?
away. Let's use it.
Yeah, 100%. Josh, what about you? What new skill are you trying to pick up this year?
I think the biggest thing is content creation. I think it's in so many ways important for me to learn with the launch of my business, with the podcast, with so many different things from a business and career side from a career aspect. But I think it's really important to learn anyway. I think in this day and age, it's a really nice skill to have. But actually, more than anything, I'm having fun doing it. I think I was really scared and nervous when I first started posting for our podcast, but also my own personal content where I'm just speaking to a camera. And I was worried about what the response was going to be. But now I'm just having fun with it because I'm able to come up with these creative stories or creative ways of doing things. And I'm really enjoying the process. So I'm doing it because it feels necessary as part of my journey. But it's also fun. It's also exciting seeing the progress and the way that things develop. Just with the podcast alone, we've seen the way that our listenership has increased from I think the quality of the content improving, and the views on our podcast posts on some of them. They're now, before we were stuck on 200 views max, and now we're getting 2, 3, 4,000 views. So it's
Wow.
going up, and I think it's just exciting. But also on top of that, with content creation, I'm finding that it's really giving me thick skin. I think I had a conversation with Sasha a few weeks ago about how I don't know if I'm cut out for social media because I'm posting these videos and I'm getting some pretty horrible comments. Like I'm getting some really aggressive, mean comments. And in the early days, I was like, yeah, I don't think I can do this. But over time, I've just learned to deal with it. And at the end of the day, if I get 100 bad comments, but I get 2 positive ones, I just need to focus on those. And I've actually impacted those 2 positive comments in a way that they felt enough to comment about it. It's changed my mindset. It's changed the way that I view social media in general. And it's given me a really thick skin. But as I say, I'm having fun along the way. So that's definitely my big focus this year.
100%. I do think as far as creating content goes, if you're getting negative comments, it means you're doing something right, where you're polarizing enough where you feel the need to say something. Like it's typically a sign that you're doing something right.
On the post too. It's another.
Exactly.
Some people just say, "Oh, that's got 100 comments," and I don't even read the comments on stuff. So just like the amount of likes or comments that I see, because I don't read them, I'm just like, "Oh wow, look at this thing! It's getting a lot of engagement." So for other people looking at the post, even let's say there's 100 bad comments and 10 good ones, somebody who doesn't read the comments will like, "Oh, that's 110 people that thought this was worthy of talking about." So that's
Yeah.
just engagement in general. And obviously y'all know better than I would about algorithms and how that stuff works. Engagement's engagement. That's time spent on the post, which as I've learned about the algorithm is whether negative or positive, engagement with the post is good for you.
Yeah.
100%. That's the way I'm viewing it as well, is that again, in the early days, I was getting some people. There was one person in particular who was commenting on every single one of my posts being mean. And then he found me on TikTok as well and did the same thing, the same guy on both Instagram and TikTok. And I blocked him because I was like, I just don't want to have to deal with this. He's just purposefully picking me out and leaving nasty comments. But actually, I've now unblocked him because I've shifted my mindset into thinking a comment is engagement, and engagement helps with the algorithm. So whether he's commenting on every single one of my posts, all the algorithm sees
There's
is
a comment.
a comment.
Yep.
Exactly.
This
And
man is stalking you. Like,
yeah, but it's just about the engagement, and Instagram says he likes this post and people are liking this post, and this one person is commenting on every single one of this guy's posts, so we're going to boost the post even more. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Engagement is engagement at the end of the day.
Was it this? All press is good press. It feels like the same thing.
That's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
no, exactly. So
Yeah.
no, it's all good. What about you, Sasha?
This is one of the things I've been saying for years at this point. I want to learn how to DJ so bad. Yes, I've been thinking about this for such a long time, and it's one of those things where I literally always have it on my. I've been trying to get away from the to-do list, but it's creeping back up. It's always on my to-do list of just look into the best way to start, like what kind of software I want to get or decks or whatever, and just do something to start. And then I'm just like,
Just buy, you have it, and then you're like, dang, I have to use this thing.
yeah,
Buy
exactly.
like the
For me, it's
Mac
like up until this
Daddy,
point.
most expensive one, and then you have to justify the amount of money you spent by using it.
Yeah,
That's
true.
terrible
I literally
advice.
just need
That's
to invest
terrible
in
advice.
something. No, but like to some degree, invest in it because then invest in it because then you have to invest your time in it too, because you've already invested monetarily. And it's something I want to do, and I have all these just for fun, but also professionally too, because I create meditations.
True, that it is.
Yeah, like I create meditations, and I would love to be able to create meditation music, but I have this like kind of vision of making almost like a hippie house music where you can do like a dancing meditation almost. So like I want to be able to get into a vibe and get into a group, but then also like have it as with my voice in the background, or maybe someone else's. I don't know, probably mine, because that's what I do. But just like to have that kind of thing. I don't want to sit there in stillness. I want to move and get the energy out, and I want to create something that could do that. So it's yes, personally, I want to be that person that curates the vibe in a group. Like I like that. And sure, you can do it with AI, but there's something about the performance aspect of it that feels really cool to me. And then it's like the professional aspect as well. It's something I've just been sitting on for such a long time. And I know that it needs to happen. I've been procrastinating, and it needs to stop immediately.
Fun thing to learn as well. Like it's exciting, and I actually think on the one hand Jacob's advice is terrible, but on the other hand it is genuinely good advice.
There's some truth to it.
Yeah,
Like you were
if
saying,
you put enough money into something, then you feel obliged to do it. It's the same with my gym membership and my personal trainer.
I mean,
I went years without getting fit and saying I was going to do it, and then the moment I started spending £200 a month on a personal trainer, I was like, I fucking have to do it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you need to just get started, and then you'll see how fun it is and how exciting it is, and the rest will come.
Yeah. Okay. It's happening. We'll get into it a little bit, but when I bop to my next place, it's also been like space as well. Like I don't really, because I've been moving around, like having space, because you don't really want to like travel with decks. So we'll figure, worst case, you ship a box back, whatever. I don't know why I'm making this to be such a big, like people travel with decks all the time. So what is my issue? Or find decks that are travel friendly or whatever. But that's on the docket this year.
They definitely have that. And I know that now, like you were saying with software and stuff, you can definitely just get a travel deck, and your laptop does most of the work with software. Maybe some external stuff if your trackpad sucks or whatever, but that has to be out there. That has to be out there.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just gonna go into AI and be like, these are my requirements.
Use AI to help you look. That's what I use AI for. I don't want to Google search where to look. Just tell me where to go. I can read. I'll go read it. I just don't want to find the thing to read. You find it, I'll read it.
Yeah, fair. Makes complete sense. But getting into the meat of the episode, like how the hell have you been? What areas of life are going well? What areas of life need some TLC? What's happening with you in the last decade?
Yeah. Generally, everything's going pretty good. I have a pretty good job. I have a girlfriend of about almost a year now. Family's doing good. So just generally pretty sweet. I guess for the things like the two areas of life that are going really, I would say probably work and my relationship are doing really. Two areas that need work. I don't know how to quantify this as a what I don't know how to or qualify this as a area of life, but I'm studying for a licensing exam and it sucks. Um, I need to give it more effort and I just hate it. So that would be one area that definitely needs a little bit of improvement.
Is that related to your job?
Yeah, I guess. So I guess maybe my job isn't the job itself is going great, but the I guess professional development because it's like a new license to make more money and expand what I can do professionally. So maybe that aspect, man, it sucks. So that
Is it just like the studying aspect of it? Like, is it the actual content that you're not liking, or is it the having to sit down and study part?
it's the sit down and study part, and then it's the format of the organization that runs the test is you have to be a member to you have to pay to be a member of the organization, and that membership allows you to sign up for the test, which you have to pay for. And if you don't remember to keep your membership up to date, you have to pay to there's a reinstatement fee. So it's just like fees all the time. And it's just like hoops that you have to jump through just because they say you have to jump through them. And so that kind of has been something that I've been struggling with of, I guess, like playing the game because I have to play the game. It's not something I like doing, but something I have to do. And so that's something I've been. So like I'm like already like I don't want to play this game, and then now I'm being forced to. Not being forced to. That's not the right way to put it, but it's something I have to do. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I don't know. Going back and studying for something just doesn't
I
sound
thought I was
enjoyable,
done
but
with
it seems
school.
like,
I thought I was done with this stuff.
is there a way to make it more enjoyable? Like, I think about, because if you can't get around it and you have to do the thing, and sometimes that's life, right? Like, you
Yeah,
literally just
for sure.
have to grit your teeth and do it. Is there a way to make it more enjoyable? For me, I'm just picturing, I'm like, okay, can I have like great music bopping at like a standing desk and like jamming and studying? Or does it look like changing the environment? I don't know if you've tried like maybe a coffee shop or a bookstore, like just changing it up so it feels more fun.
That's what I've been doing this time. I've had some unfavorable results on a few of the tests that I've taken. And so obviously what I was doing is not working. And so this go around I've been trying to do things a little bit differently. I'm finding out that studying on the weekends is not something I want to do or I'm very good at. So I'm going to go back to studying after work, which is what I started doing and was doing it and doing it. I just didn't think that the time frame, an hour every day or 5 days a week was deep enough to get into the content. But I'm finding that I'm only doing an hour or two on the weekends because I'm like just staring at the clock, waiting for the hour to be up, being like, oh, cool, I did something, let me stop. So gonna go back to studying after work. And then I'm at work. I'm already in that kind of productive space and productive mood. And hopefully that works. And but I've also been signing up for classes traditionally or previously was trying to do it all by myself, and I don't think that that is in my best interest. So trying it different this time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the group aspect would be really cool too, especially for other people who are studying for the same thing. That could be really, there's a reason that people do study
They always
groups
meet on the
in
weekend,
school.
which just comes back to these are my days off. You know what I mean? I try to separate. I get 2 a week, which is it's plenty, but I try to make sure that my time off is my time off, and I get to do what I want to do. Um, so studying on a Sunday or a Saturday morning is like, ugh. Yeah.
We both know that life so much. It's like, how do you balance doing these things you have to do outside of your job and then also being able to enjoy your time and not feeling like one is taking away from the other? And when you are doing the thing you have to do, like, how can you make it as enjoyable as possible so you don't feel like you wouldn't be able to rip your hair out, rip your beard out? So, like, how can you do those things, like forcing yourself to do something that you like just have to? But I don't know, Josh, what do you
Well,
think?
how long is this whole process?
So essentially, it's as long as I want it to be, or I guess maybe not I want it to be, but because if I would have been done by now if it was up to me. But it's 4 sections that are offered once every 4 months. But I could take all 4 in one go if I wanted to. It's just so comprehensive, and it's a lot of material, a lot of different types of material that I know that I couldn't do that. So there's some that I might try to double up on because they overlap a little bit. But essentially, it's what I've been doing is one test every 4 months. And then one of the testing periods is over the holidays. And this has been a 2-year process, but really only 4 testing windows because I did not want to spend the holidays studying. It could be faster, but at the same time, there's no rush on my end. There's nothing that needs to be done by any certain point of time. So
Yeah.
no need to rush,
Then
stress myself and rush through it, or try to
and
rush
then
through it.
once you're done with this, is there more that you have to do after? Like in the future, is there more, or this is it?
Continuing education, but we do that at work anyways, so those hours would be pretty easy to come by. But that's the name. That's any professionally licensed profession or career has the same requirements. You have to make sure that you stay up to date with the new trends, the new technology, science, whatever. But no, this would be, unless I decided to go back and get another degree for another discipline, which I'm not going to do. But yeah, this would be it. So that's, I guess, some good news is once I get this thing, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like once it's over,
Yeah,
it's over.
exactly.
'Cause I think that's something that always helped me when I was at school and when I was studying. I was a fucking terrible student, if you excuse my language. I was awful.
Yeah.
But the thing, and I just hated studying. I think that was the main thing. I just found it boring, and especially on weekends at work or after school, just eating up my time. But the way I always viewed it, and I know it's so much easier said than done, but it's an important mindset shift to make, is that I'm gonna have to do this for 1, maybe 2 years, and
Sure.
after that, I'm done. I have to put in the work now, and then I'll thank myself for the rest of my life or for the rest of my career. And I feel for me that kind of motivated me in a way, and I'm like, you know what, I can give up these weekends because it's not going to last forever, and I'm going to be grateful. I'm going to be proud of the results at the end of it as well. It's what, 2 years of your life, and that feels like a long time, especially at our age, when for me at least time seems to just be flying by every week, every year. Every year I get older, the year goes faster. But there are 2 years that you will get back in other areas because you're putting in the work now.
Yeah, that's a good mindset
That
for sure.
that always helps me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in general, just having to, sometimes there's just the things you have to do. And also like with continuing education, I think it might not look like, if you're not a licensed person, it might not look like doing the hours of traditional continuing education, but it might look like learning how to implement AI. Everyone's going to have to go through changes and evolution in their careers, and they're going to have to educate themselves in some way to improve and to innovate. That's literally the whole point of growth. It's just sometimes it just looks way more boring than other
For sure.
times. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. There are definitely, I just think back, it's been such a long time since I've studied for anything. Like I dabbled in considering getting my MBA, but I was during COVID and I'm like, I don't know what else to do. So I'll just study for something because I needed something to work
Yeah.
towards. So I was like, okay, I'll take the GRE, like, why not? And then having to do, I'm like, why did I not take this when I was 18? If I took this when I was 18 and had all the same math, because this is shit you were studying in high school, it would have been fine. I'm like, why am I doing this at 22? Like, really? And it was just like having to just sit through it and be like, okay, how do I make it as enjoyable as possible while I'm in it? Whatever that looks like. If that looks like munching on a favorite snack or going to a new environment or studying with a group or having some great jams going or just like moving while you're doing it, like whatever you can do to just make it more enjoyable, I would just, because then you're one and done.
Yeah.
Adulting.
Yeah. Oh my God, that still sucks.
Adulting is no joke. Josh, it's been so like, okay, for context, Jacob, Josh and I normally talk. Obviously, we record this once a week and sometimes we do voice messages too. That's how we started this whole podcast. We would just voice message back and forth and we're like, we should just record these because if people want to
Yeah.
listen to us, great. And if not, we're just two besties like shooting the shit. But Josh and I haven't talked in a long while and you had some crazy life shit. Like what, how are you feeling? Like you're in a big transitional stage right now. What's happening?
For the most part, life is good. Life is pretty much as good as it's been ever, possibly. Just in relation to, I did an updated Wheel of Life. I gave each area a score out of 10 last week, I think it was. Yeah, a week or so ago. And the last one I'd done before that was in January. And January is always a bad time of year for me. Just the weather always bothers me. But I did much better this year than I usually do because I had the right sort of systems and right routine in place. Um, but I looked back on my January score and it was like consistently threes, fours across the board, a couple of higher scores like seven, eights. Um, but I did it again last week and they were consistently seven, eight, even a nine was in there. Life is pretty good. In terms of what's going well, in particular, my relationship is going great, and I'm flying out to India next Sunday to go and see her, and then things are looking really good with the visa to bring her back to the UK. That's really positive, really exciting, and that was the nine in my wheel, because that definitely feels the best right now. And then career also feels great. Now that's the big news that I had. So the last time Sasha and I spoke, I was waiting on basically this my old job to come back to me and say whether they can offer me a position when I come back from India because I'm going for a couple of months. And it was stressing me the fuck out because there was
Yeah.
so much relying on this in terms of the visa application for my partner. That was basically I have to financially sponsor her to bring her back, and I needed a job in place in order to do that. And I need to earn a minimum amount in order to qualify for this, and they were £1,000 off in terms of the salary they were just not giving it to me. And eventually they agreed. So last Friday they agreed, and everything just suddenly fell into place. So now I can go to India for 2 months. We can
Hell
apply
yeah.
for the visa almost immediately. There's just so many things that were waiting on this outcome. So that's great news. Really exciting. And yeah, as I say, life feels good. The one area that and it's a pretty major area, I suppose, that needs work right now, although I do have a game plan in place, is my physical environment. So my home situation is not good right now. I, as Sasha knows all too well, I've had some pretty stinking flatmates in the past, just like really horrible situation. It's my apartment, so I own the flat, and my last flatmates were just a bit of a nightmare, and then I kicked them out, and I've got two new flatmates who've lived with me for about 2 months now. And what's basically happened is that they've become really, really good friends and left me out a little bit, which is fine. I don't mind. I like my own space when I'm in my flat. But they're dominating in terms of the rules in the flat, and obviously it's my apartment, and I wanted to put down my authority in terms of the ways that certain things should be done, and it's things that really, in my opinion, should go without saying. If you have the heating on, close the windows because they're not paying bills, and I feel like that's common sense.
Yeah.
And every time I've asked them to do something or not to do something, they basically just bite back and they argue with me, and I've got to a point now where I've given up. I'm like, you know what, you win. It's two versus one, even though I should have the overriding vote basically. So anyway, it's pretty horrible, and I'm at my mum's right now, and I've been saying to everyone, I think I might just stay here until I go to India because I don't like being at home. I don't like being in my own space right now, and it's not a nice feeling at all. And I feel like when I am there, I have to lock myself in my room because I don't feel welcomed. It's not a nice feeling. My game plan at the moment, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, is I'm going away and I'll be gone for a couple of months, maybe longer, because I've just found out or just realized that my flight back from India is via the Middle East, and I didn't realize that, so flight might be cancelled. Anyway, the plan is 6 to 8 weeks in India, and then when I come back, I will serve them both a month's notice, so they have to leave the beginning of July, and that's it. They'll be gone, and I'll have to put up with them for another month, and that's it. And I think I'll probably try and leave it amicably in terms of I won't tell them why I'm kicking them out. I'll just say with Savita, my girlfriend, coming back, we just want it to be us in the apartment. We don't want anyone else. But yeah, it's just a constant battle at the moment. And I think I have that game plan in place, but until then, it's just eating me up a little bit and it's just driving me a bit insane. And I feel like the problem is, Sasha and I have spoken about with my previous flatmates, and the whole theme there in our conversations was speak to them about it in person. Don't do it over text, because that was a habit that I had. But I feel like I can't do either now because they just argue with me, and it's, as I say, I feel like it's 2 versus 1 in every single thing I say. And yeah, it's rough. So I have one more week to put up with that. And then, I'm a bit worried about leaving them in the apartment without me for 2 months. But it's something I have to do. And I considered kicking them out before I go away, but then I need the rent. I wouldn't have time to find new people in that time. Yeah, it's a bit of a shitty situation. But honestly, that's the only area of my life that I would say really needs work. And I think the work there probably comes with time, maybe. I don't know.
I have a question though. Could you, and I don't know any of the logistics of the agreements or anything like that, but would there be any way to swap a responsibility of the utilities over to them while you're gone? And at least that way
So
you have peace of mind that they're not going to be like, how do they treat the unit itself?
pretty good. Pretty
Okay.
good.
Then I guess
One
at
issue
least
we
there's no worry there.
No, they're not going to cause damage. One issue I've had is how messy they are. Like they just leave shit all over the place, but
Yeah.
there's no damage there. It's not going to last.
Gotcha.
It's just not particularly nice to live with.
No, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, it's something I considered because I've been worried about when I'm away that they are gonna
Just
kind of
run it up. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But I think that's also like super fair. Hey, I'm not going to be here. Like, why should I pay utilities when I'm not here?
Exactly. So at the moment,
But I
and I
don't,
think
yeah.
this is one of my mistakes, is that I included the bills in the rent. And I think moving forward, next time I won't do that
Gotcha.
because they do just take liberties. They just do what they want. And luckily, I have control of the heating, so I can turn it off and on, but they can't. But there's underfloor heating in the bathroom and kitchen, which they have control over. So I'm worried that when I'm away, it's just going to be on the whole time. I have no doubt it will. So my thought was, I'll tell them that this is what the bills usually cost. If it goes over this while I'm away, you pay for it. And that's what
Fair.
we're doing
Yeah.
here. Because
That sounds fair.
yeah, otherwise there's a very good chance that they will. I keep wanting to say take the piss, but I think that's quite British slang. I think
No, I
that
love
they
that.
will.
I love
I think
that
they
I
phrase.
will
think
take
it's
the
funny.
piss. Yeah. Good idea
It,
though.
yeah, it's an opportunity too to sit down. I would definitely sit down with them in person and be like, "Hey, I'm going to be gone for a while." Like these and like that being one of the things, but also just lay out just reiterate the rules and be like, and things like that where it's like, this is what it normally is. Anything over that you guys will cover. If there's anything else you're concerned about, just lay out all of your concerns. And I would even just like, address the thing. Like address the fact that you feel like you can't go to them and that maybe it feels like 2 versus 1. Like I would just say the thing because a lot of times like when there's a weird dynamic at play or when we're feeling a certain way about something, like just addressing the thing head on, like kind of alleviates that in the situation. If someone's bothering you or if you feel like some sort of way about the dynamic, like actually saying it out loud a lot of times just allows the tension to release, even if it looks something like, hey, like I love how close you guys have gotten. It feels this space has really enabled you guys to develop a really cool friendship. And I think that's awesome. And I just want to make sure sometimes that's made me feel left out, or maybe not left out, but maybe insert word here about how you're feeling with it, especially being like, especially since it's an apartment I invest time and money into and energy into, and I want to make sure that it's respected and that we're following the rules because it's like important to me, and I want to make sure everyone is able to feel heard, blah blah blah, and then just reiterate the rules before you leave, and just take every precaution you can to make sure that you're protecting yourself. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing if you go stay with your mom. Like I've been in really horrible roommate situations, and your environment is such a factor to who you are. It's like you're a little plant, and your pot, like the thing that's holding you, is what's promoting your growth or not. If it's too small, you're not going to grow. If it's too big, you're drowning it in your own soil. Or if it's just like a toxic thing, it's a toxic thing.
Yeah.
So you just have to be able to just enjoy your home environment and to not have that warped by someone else's bullshit.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I want to get towards. And I'm even getting to a point now where if I only have one person paying rent, I'm not going to be losing money, but I'm not going to be making money, which is obviously what I want from an investment like this. But I'm getting to the point now, I've had 4 horrific flatmate experiences, and I am now thinking, do I just literally just keep it me and Savita when she comes back and we don't have a flatmate? And we're at a point now where we're talking about marriage and kids, and we're not quite there yet in terms of actually having the kids. We're probably a few years away still, but we're not going to be living with other people for much longer. So do I just cut my losses in the meantime and just make it me and her, or do I get one other flatmate in and just make sure that they're not a friend? I think is quite important. I've learned that lesson now because all 4 of these have been friends or family friends. So yeah, there's a lot to think about in terms of the way to do this moving forward. But I think you're right. Sitting down with them and having a conversation before I go and just saying, listen, I'm gone for a long time and I need you to be doing these things. I think it's hard because I don't want to make them feel like I'm watching them the whole time. But I think I also do need to say something like, listen, I have visibility of how much the bills are, of how much the electric meter is. And if I do see that it goes over a certain amount, then I'm going to have to start charging you for that, basically. So, yeah, but it's hard because I'm scared to have this conversation with them because of the way that every other conversation has gone. Literally, the tiniest little things that I raise, and I've got 2 dogs barking in my ear. Yeah, it's tough.
Make it
I was
fun.
just saying, if you catch them one-on-one, I don't know how likely that is,
Yeah,
but that
that's not a bad
certainly
shout.
you mentioned that you felt teamed up on. So if you have this same conversation just twice,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's true. That's a very good point.
Maybe have a conversation outside of the
true.
apartment.
That's also a good
Text
point.
them and be like, let's meet at our local pub before I leave. Let's get a round of drinks or something before we go, or get out of the apartment and out of the space. I think might help like change up the environment, and that way you're not stuck in that environment where you don't feel like you have leverage. Like you can go outside and have a different energetic dynamic
Yeah,
based on like where you are in your physical environment
for
too.
sure. Yeah, I like that. I think that's something you suggested before, just almost like a pattern interrupt, because we've been so used to having these conversations in the apartment and it's gone a certain way every time. And I think we also feel like we're in the comfort of our home and we're more comfortable I don't know, maybe to put it in a more unfamiliar setting
Yeah.
with other people around as well, so they can't be as argumentative. I think that's a pretty good idea. Yeah. Okay.
Why not?
Okay. All right. Hopefully that solves that problem. Anyway, how are you, Sasha?
Life is lifing. Life is crazy. I feel like I have so much because Josh and I haven't talked in a long time. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't caught him up on a lot of what's happening in my life right now, which is crazy. Which, Jacob, it's really nice to have someone else too to just be like, this is what's happening. So as far as like biggest change, I'd say honestly, my wheel of life feels so kablooey right now. Like like every area feels good and bad in some ways. Like in in some ways, like my family relationships have never felt stronger. I didn't realize I was on the phone with my dad yesterday and he's oh, so and so is sick. I'm like, yeah, that person's sick, this person's sick, this person's sick, this person you called in antibiotics for, this person is in Ohio on a trip. And he's like, how do you know everything that's happening with all of the family? And I'm like, I'm really good at maintaining my family relationships. And at the same time, a lot of my family relationships right now, like I'm feeling like my family members are in a negative headspace and I'm trying to my best to like create boundaries around that. And not being close physically really helps with that. But I'm connecting with them and calling them. I want to make sure that we're still connecting and staying connected, especially when I'm across the country. But then it's like when I do get on the phone with them, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like it's draining my energy. Like it's so negative. So like in that sense, like in every area, it feels like that, where there are positive aspects and aspects that need work. Like physical health too. Like I feel like I couldn't work out for a couple of months and I'm finally back on it, which feels great to move my body every day. And that feels incredible. Like I'm an athlete, like being able to work out every day feels amazing again. And at the same time, like I've definitely seen some weight gain and feel it in my clothing and it's freaking me out and try my very hardest not to be self-critical. Like it's my last week in San Diego, so I'm at this interesting inflection point of I want to enjoy San Diego while I'm here. And I'm also like ready to go and I'm ready to go to LA for a couple of months. So I leave Wednesday. So it's my last weekend, last Sunday here in San Diego and I'm honestly ready for a fresh start. I think for my physical health, like moving and bopping to a new place is going to be good for me because it's just kind of like fallen in here with a crowd of like excess eating and drinking. And that's not like the goal. I want to indulge, but I don't want to overly indulge. So literally every area feels like this, like every single area on the wheel right now. But yeah, I think just wrapping up my time here and being able to just sit and enjoy, but also how to prioritize my health and everything. Life is great, but also we're lifing. There's shit I need to like work through and work on right now.
Yep.
It's the circle of life, isn't it? That's the way it works. And if it wasn't like that, then there wouldn't be something actually. How do you feel about your time in San Diego overall?
I love it here. I came into this chapter of my life, Jacob, just for like context. I spent the last year traveling.
Well, I know that. So I was going to say, catch me up real quick on San Diego, at least.
Yeah. So I spent the last year traveling and then for the whole year 2025. And then when I finished the travels, I was like, okay, I still want to travel. I don't know where I want to live yet, but I'll just try cities for months at a time. There are 5 cities I was considering living in, and San Diego and LA were the 2 I'd never lived in before. The other 3 I've lived in before. So I know what life looks like. San Diego, I've been here since mid-January. So mid-January through end of March, it was 2.5 months. And I'm going to LA next. As far as my time here in San Diego, it's interesting because I've been here most years of my life. Obviously, we came for gills and came every summer for gills. And then before that, like from when I was 0 to 6, I came every Christmas with my family. I don't remember those trips, but it's still like there. And I visited a handful of times after that. So I've spent a lot of time in San Diego. And as far as my time here goes, it was definitely what I needed and not what I wanted per se. I was hoping for more community living and more like health oriented, but it was really good. Like I spent a lot more time in solitude than I was expecting, like really putting in energy into my career, which has been feeling really, really good. But honestly, like as far as a city goes, I can see myself here, but not right now. Like it's a little slower pace than I like. Maybe I'd feel differently if I was walking distance to the water. I don't like that it takes me forever to get to a body of water. If that's a pool or an ocean, like I just need to sit by water or be able to walk by water. So maybe I'd feel differently if I was closer,
Right there
but
with
I'm
you
just
on
kind
that
of
one.
like, yeah, like I need to be by water and I don't know, like it's a little bit slower pace than I was hoping for, or not hoping for, but I could see myself here in life, but maybe not right now, like maybe later in life. I'm thinking LA might be a little bit more fast paced. I could wear all my clothing. Like I didn't develop this gorgeous wardrobe to not be able to wear it. Like San Diego's a very casual place. And I know that sounds crazy for a lot of people, but for me, like it's a priority to be able to wear like the pieces that I've collected over many years. It's like that's such a fashion thing to say. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm ready for the next spot, honestly. Like I feel ready to move. I feel ready for the next place. But it's interesting, like wherever I book time, by the time I get to the end, I'm like ready to go for the most part. There have been a couple of exceptions, but I'm like ready to bop. Yeah. And I also thought it's going to have more like community here. Like I reached out to every single person I knew in San Diego, and we know so many people through Tony Robbins, and the people that actually followed up with me to hang out were not like who I was expecting, and was not as consistent as I was hoping for, which also happened when I moved to Miami. Honestly, even just people I knew through other areas too, like other music festivals I've been to, or just like knowing them from San Diego, just out and about. Like
Yeah.
the people that I ended up hanging out with a lot were one guy that I met like through a music festival, mutual friends kind of vibe. And then my aunt and uncle. I've been hanging out with my aunt a ton, and it's my dad's like really close friend from the 80s. They haven't seen each other in like 2 decades up until this trip. Him and his like long-term girlfriend, I've been hanging out with her all the time. And her massive sweet tooth has not been great for my health, honestly. But it's yeah, and that's all I've been who I've been hanging out with, and just random people, like people in the house or whatever. Yeah, it's not as community centric as I was hoping, but again, could be like in this moment I needed the solitude.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny how that happens with friends. I had the same when I moved to Fort Lauderdale, and I was reaching out to people, so many Guilds people, Tony Robbins people down in South Florida. Unfortunately, you weren't quite yet there at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like people weren't as receptive as I was expecting. And there's people there who I was super, super, super close with. Again, I'm not going to name names. And I saw them, and she came to my birthday, which was nice. But yeah, I barely saw her. And so I spoke to my mum about it at the time. And I was like, I just don't understand. Because if you remember, Sasha, I found myself really lonely there. And that's how I ended up joining the S fam. Yeah, I was really struggling to make friends and to connect with people. And my mum said, the problem is you make these friends at a Tony Robbins event or anywhere in the world, and then you go to their hometown, their home city, and they already have their own lives. They have their established life there, and they have to adjust maybe to implement you into that lifestyle and into the way that they're living. So it's not personal. But the way I saw it is that if they really wanted to be around me, then they would adjust. But I can see both sides in that, it's the same when people come and visit me here in London. I do my best to accommodate. But for example, there are, again, certain people who have moved to London. There's one thing, like when you came to visit, of course, I'll put the time aside for a few days to be with you. But when someone moves to London, it's like, yeah, I work long hours and I have a very packed social life. And I didn't see these people as much as I would like to. And so I do see both sides, but it's tough. Of course, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something I've seen everywhere I've gone. And the thing is like you see in general, like who shows up for you and who doesn't. And the people who don't, okay, great. I know like we just won't maintain any sort of friendship. Cool. And the people who do, okay, cool. And it's just been, it's eye-opening in a lot of ways, especially around the travels, to be like who shows up, who doesn't. But that's just, I think life and it's something we've had a lot of chats about in general, like just in general with relationships in your life. Observe how people act, observe how people are treating you, how they show up for you, how they prioritize your time, even if it's just like catching up once a year on the phone for an hour, or if that's whatever that, if it's like sending a text every once in a while, a birthday text, are they even still remembering? Like, it's just helpful to see how people like act and react. And all I can do is I reached out, I put the effort in. I said, I'm here, I'm doing the thing. If you want to meet up, great. And if not, great. And I already did that with my people in LA. I reached out to everybody. I'm like, hey, I'm coming for 2 months. And everyone's great. Let me know when you get here. And when I get there, I'll tell everybody and see who shows up and who doesn't. And if Bella doesn't show up, then she's going to have a problem, because I'm just going to be at her door, knock, 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 Bella.
You know where she lives.
Like, she has no
Yeah.
I know where she lives. She's got no option. I've been to her house before.
If she doesn't show up, I will.
Everyone's coming out. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just observe the actions of others and see where you stand. And it's okay if people don't make time or space to be in your life, because then you don't have to make time or space to have them in your life at all. I might have just said the same thing twice in different ways, but that's okay. That's fine.
Put it on a t-shirt.
We'll put
On
it
the
on a
front and the
motherfucking
back.
t-shirt. Yeah. Literally. Yeah, we got to get some merch going. Honestly, there are some things that we would definitely need on t-shirts. I don't know what they'd be, but they're definitely something
Yeah,
for
plenty.
sure. Yeah. Oh, Jacob, it was so nice having you on. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me. I
chatting.
had a lot of fun.
It was nice to just catch up and see like what everyone's
Yeah,
up
for
to and what
sure.
everyone's doing. And I think it'd be really interesting to have you and your mom on at the same time. I don't know coordinating how that would work, but I think that'd be
That
really
would be
cool to have a
fun.
family
That'd be
dynamic.
fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Just get another link and just set a time. Or I can. She lives 5 minutes away from me, so I could just run over there and we could hop on the combo screen it or
True.
whatever. Noah too. I can give you his number and we
Yeah.
get the whole fam on here. Yeah,
I think that'd be really cool. Let's coordinate that because I think having a whole family dynamic
that'd be
would be
fun.
really awesome. But all right, guys, we'll catch you guys next week on Mastermind Moments.
See you later.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.